Morning, Joe.
Morning.
I'm showing 8 a.m., so why don't we go ahead and convene and get started. This is the General Government Committee meeting. It is Wednesday, April 12th at 8 a.m. I have called this to order. Let's begin with roll call. All council members are present and accounted for. Our first item on the agenda is just approval of our meeting minutes from our March 8th meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. This is Leetta.
Second.
There's a motion by Councilmember Dahl to approve the minutes, which is seconded by Councilmember Kathy. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion passes unanimously. So our first substantive item is regarding ordinance number 2023-008, amending our municipal code in regards to our advisory boards and commissions. John, I think you're gonna walk us through that.
I will. Thank you, committee members. Good morning. This item comes to us from a couple of different directions, sort of surfaced among staff. One of them was a conversation about creating an arts commission and making sure that an arts commission, as they go out and commission art within the community and things like that, doesn't have conflicts of interest, that they're not selecting art pieces that maybe they themselves created. And then it started to sort of prompt questions about other boards and commissions where we have, the Parks Board or the Historical Commission making choices about the allocation of funds. And it just prompted some questions about what are the rules that we have and what consistency do we have between our various boards and commissions, who 99.99% of the time do a great job and are incredible contributors to the community and to the city and to helping to set the direction for the city. But sometimes we also have challenges with particular specific members who often, may have attendance problems, or we've even had, I don't know that we've had them here in my past life, we've had situations where people move away and there's not a way to remove them from the board or the commission that they're on, even though they don't live here. So it just prompted to look at sort of what provisions do we have for removing members of boards and commissions or task forces if they're not performing for whatever reason. And so we are proposing to you a fairly simple ordinance that says that if board or commission members, and we've expanded this to include like task forces and things like that, aren't performing, there's a process for the mayor and the council to remove those. So again, it would come from the mayor with essentially approval or confirmation from the city council for that to happen. It also directs each board and commission to come up with their own set of rules to follow. And the city attorney's been working on sort of a one-page sheet that would be like an acknowledgement for board and commission members that just reminds them of the ethical obligations that come from both the city rules, but also state law, to things like avoiding a conflict of interest. So that's what's before you today is ordinance 2023-008, and it would again provide a process for removing board and commission members. So we'd entertain any questions. Ultimately, our recommendation would be that you move this forward to the full council for adoption.
Would these be people who were appointed by the mayor? I mean, boards and commissions. I'm just trying to clarify, those words. I mean, if someone is.
This would be Planning Commission, Parks Board, Historical Commission, all of those. And then if we had some, temporary ad hoc committee that was helping with something, I don't know what, a housing committee that got appointed, it would apply to them also.
Thanks.
So Joan, did you have a follow-up question?
No, that's what I wondered if, either,
So John, in section 2 of the draft, there's a couple of sentences that are struck out. Is that because that's the existing process for the planning commission that's struck? And then the new process would apply to everybody? Is that why
Yes.
that's removed? Okay.
Yes.
So it would be conflicting and duplicative to leave that language in. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone have any other?
No,
no.
Okay. I don't have any other questions either. I think this is pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Or
Are you comfortable moving forward to consent?
I am. I think this is pretty straightforward, kind of basic stuff, but I don't know if anyone else has concerns about that, but I'm fine with it being on the consent calendar.
I'm fine with it being on consent, but I would defer to Joan. Since this has been a topic of hers for a bit.
One of my only reasons of putting things on consent is so that, is this something that the whole council should know about, hear about, hear John explain it? Or the people out there that listen who are going to possibly be on a committee or a commission? I don't know. I don't have a problem with it at all. I just am thinking about transparency and openness as we're appointing people or recruiting people or something, but consent's fine with me.
Yeah, it was, if I'm being totally honest, it was my assumption that this was the case already. That what applied to, I remember the rules for the planning commission. I sort of assumed that that applied to every board and commission.
Everyone? Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so it, I hear what you're saying, Joan. I don't care if we have it on in order, but I think it's probably fine on consent, but okay.
I mean, the only
So
thing I could see is if we're looking for members, right, to then pull it and talk about that and then do a plug to say, hey, here's the application, apply, right? That's the only way I could think is if we're looking for different engagement, it could be a way to do that.
Okay. We could do that. Okay, so it will not be on this coming week. It'll probably be 2 weeks after that. It's not in a particular hurry, so we'll do that. So thank you for the support of that.
All right. And I guess, so we don't need a motion. We're just kind of giving it a thumbs up. I don't think this one requires a recommendation from us or anything.
You can make one if you want.
I don't know. This feels more administrative. Like I'm not sure we need to
Okay,
weigh in.
I will describe it as saying the committee supported it.
Perfect.
All right. Moving on to item 5, the community center update. Chuck, I believe you're gonna be walking us through this one.
I think I am. Thanks, it's good to see you from the Hallowed Halls of City Hall. A little quick update this morning on where we're at with the community center project. Quick history. It was passed as part of the Metropolitan Park District funding back from 2018. We allocated $12 million in the Park District budget for a community center of some type to be planned in 23-24 and constructed in 2025. So that's the schedule we're trying to stay on. We tried to get that going last fall, October, November, due to a number of issues with staffing and emerging projects, and eventually an arson at our museum. We've been sidetracked for a little while on this project, but it is moving again. We have a committee of one council member, which is Councilmember Kathy, 2 parks commissioners and 2 staff who are on a selection committee to choose a consultant and designer to walk us through the community process to design what's going to be in this facility. We sent out RFPs last fall. We got 6 responses, and that's in your packet. But ARC Architects, Barker Inker CCAT Architecture, Thomas Architecture, the Artisans Group, ALCS Architects, and KMB Architects. We're fairly familiar with all of these firms. Some of them are very experienced in municipal community centers and recreation facilities, and some of them are kind of dipping their toes in, hoping to get more experience and work with the city. So I think 6 good submittals. We're going through those now, and we have a score sheet. I'm waiting for 2 more score sheets to come back in, and then depending on how that turns out, we'll either do interviews or we'll move forward with the top candidate and go into contracting with them to work with us to start the design process. After we choose a consultant, then the big work really begins in putting together a community center committee that really mirrors Tumwater and the needs of Tumwater. So it's everything from it'll be a fairly large committee with a couple city staff, at least a council member, probably most of the Parks Board will want to participate, but also members from the community, from everything from schools, kids, families, seniors, some social service providers, kind of a wide ranging group of representatives from the community to give us input on what should be in that facility. So, but as a reminder, we always go back to Tumwater's motto that I think John brought with him when we do a public vote, and we say promises made, promises kept. So I always go back to our voter pamphlet when I'm thinking about the Metropolitan Park District and what did we tell people we were going to do? What did they agree to raise their taxes for? The way we explained it. And for the community center, what we put out to the community was building a community center with meeting and special event space, senior services, indoor sports courts, and land for a future public swimming pool. That's what we put on our voter fact sheet. We further explained that in the request for proposals from consultants to include more things for the community, more options, more partnerships, and kind of widen that out a little bit to make sure that we're at least going to address or evaluate different community needs and different partners that might join us in this facility. And that could be, those partners could be anything from a private business like Subway or Starbucks. It could be something from Providence or Capital Medical Center. It could be the school district. It could be some kind of social services. It could be South Sound Senior Services. There's a whole wide variety. But before we get to talking about who's gonna join us, that's kind of a later stage. We need to talk about what's in the facility. What does Tumwater need in a community center? We toured the YMCA last night, and Councilmember Dahlhoff was part of that. Pretty typical community center stuff there on a very small scale. Not a lot of program space, but a lot of activity space in that building. Those are the kinds of things we're going to look at in addition to what we might be able to do with partners. So as we go through that process, there'll be community meetings. There'll be at least 2 community surveys. We'll do we'll invite people in like we do with park planning, sort of a free-for-all, come one, come all, and let's talk about what the city's doing and what you feel that the city needs or what your family needs or what would make us a better community with a community center. As we go through that process, we'll evaluate those needs and come up with a draft of what might be in the community center. And of course, key to that will be how much is it going to cost? $12 million is not very much money to build a community building. We'll be millions into it before we break ground. So community partners are going to be key. Looking at other funding sources will be key. And I can guarantee that once we get into this with the public and start talking about what we need, the needs are going to far outweigh the money that we have. So it'll be a good process. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to take, I would guess at least 6 months to get through it. So by fall, hopefully we'll have a product that we'll be talking about at the city council level. Although we'll keep you posted what's going on along the way. We'll also be evaluating sites. That's somewhat critical. Where's this facility going to be? Right now, we're kind of throwing the city wide open, and we'll look at a bunch of different sites from land to the south, whether that's Portland or something else. Through the old DOT site to the brewery site to we'll kind of look at everything and weigh pros and cons and hopefully come up with the best place that this facility should be. So with that, I think I would throw it back to you. And if you have questions for me, I'd be happy to talk about it more.
Joan, I was gonna offer Joan, just since she's sitting as a member, if she has any comments to add or anything first, then go to you to a question, if that's okay.
I don't. Like Chuck said, this was given to us originally months ago. We thought we were going to get started on it, and then we didn't. Then I don't know why I should have given Chuck a call. So I put all my papers away and couldn't find them. And then I get this notice from Chuck that we're still doing this. He didn't say it. It wasn't directed just at me, but we're still doing this. So we need to get these forms and things going. So I am one of the 2 people yet to turn in my recommendation. So I am just finished rereading those. They're, Chuck, those are, you read one thing in one of those and you go, wow, that'd be great for that, boy, they're good on that. And then you look at something else, and a lot of the pictures and illustrations they send are good. So I would say we're kind of at the beginning of getting this going as far as the consultant's concerned. And then I feel like we'll have a lot more to talk about other than what Chuck has said. Maybe, Chuck, I don't know, we just passed a new rule. Maybe this is the first time it gets used. You could replace me on there since I lost my papers for a while.
Oh, no.
By the way,
I think I speak for everyone when I say you're irreplaceable, Joan.
that was a great packet. You put together a good thing. People sent us nice stuff, so we're on our way. That's what I can say, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thanks for your work on that, both the work that you have done so far and then the lots and lots of work yet to come. Councilmember Dahl.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. The one thing I was just wondering, excuse me, is the timing and the educational and that contact piece with our community. Have we decided if we're doing a community forum this year? I know that it's popped up in different committee meetings of what that could look like if we're doing that. Have we decided if we're doing a community forum? And if we are, could this be an avenue time-wise to like have something up where people are attending something can also provide input or like post-its of what they'd like to see, right? I don't know if there's the timing of all of that.
Are you referring to like Tumwater University, that kind of a community forum?
That too, right? But the one we used to do, like, did we do it like together at the school? Right, when we break up?
Yeah, I'll just chime in. The community summit, we usually did in the spring. We've sort of left the message with Tumwater Hopes that if they want to convene a summit, we'll work with them on doing that. They're usually the lead on that because as part of their funding, they have to convene they have to do a key leader summit or a key leader meeting or something like that. So we usually sort of follow their lead. They've had some staff changes and things like that. So we've not heard anything. And it probably won't happen in the summer. If it happens, it would happen in the fall.
Yeah, past when we would want there. Yeah, okay, never mind. Just thought I'd ask.
Okay, well, we will host, very singular to this project, but we will host community meetings probably at a school, whether it's, at THS in the cafeteria or some big space where people can come and have that community conversation and talk about what they need and what their visions are.
I just know that, thank you, Chuck. I just know that in past things, when we looked at survey results and the demographic of those surveys, we've seen that there's gaps in representation and voices, right? And so how can we be, do things a little differently, right? Continuously improving and making sure we go to where people are in addition, but also not expecting people to always come to us, right? So it's that dance.
Yeah, and that was something I included in the request for proposals was innovative and unique ways to gather public opinion. Because like, yeah, as you have said, Leah, that, you know, our surveys come back and they're, you know, 65% white women over 65 that respond or something like that. Reaching out to the entire community, particularly the lower age, you know, 21 to 35, getting their input is tough. So we have to look at some different strategies.
Thanks, Chuck.
So
think-
I have
I
a
think what's
question.
55 are important.
Well, the RFQ also covered senior services potentially in the design, so I think our values there are represented a bit. So Chuck, the timeline that's in our packet, is that up to date for what we expect in terms of interviewing the firms and notifying them of selection, or is that also pushed back?
If I can get the last 2 evaluation sheets this week, I think we can stay with that timeline. And then once we have someone on board, it's gonna take about a month, but it usually takes about a month to do contracting with this kind of thing. And that will come through council. We'll decide then what the timeline for the entire project is, you know, when we're meeting with the committee, where we're doing community meetings and how that process is gonna go.
Does anyone have any other questions?
No, I'm excited we're moving forward.
Me too. All right, with that, I think we've concluded this agenda item. John, do you have anything else to add to the agenda or anything?
We have nothing.
Okay, nice and short and sweet this morning. But if there's no other items on our agenda, I guess we are officially adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for
Right.
such a nice, quick meeting. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.